Hi everyone, I'm Lisa Byrne.
And I'm Lori Gambacorta, and we are the co-founders of E.P.I.C, Empowering People, Inspiring Community. And today we are delighted to have as our guest, Celestia French. She is the founder of La Bella Una and the Vitality Sessions podcast. Welcome, Celestia.
Welcome,
Thank you so much.
Celestia.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored to be here.
Yay. Can you tell us a little bit about your business?
Sure. Well, I've been in business under La Bella Una just for the last few years. It's really gone through a big metamorphosis since I had kiddos. So basically, what I'm working on right now and what I've been working on for the last few years is just helping burnt out mamas and healers to really simplify their self-care and nutrition so that they can start filling from a full cup rather than an empty cup. And so that's really what I've been focusing on for the last 2 years, is just simplifying things in a way that really makes it within reach for people to feel great in their whole being, so they can take care of whatever they have to take care of throughout the course of the day, whether that's their healing practice or their kiddos and themselves.
And we know you have many, many talents, including yoga therapist and nutrition coach. So can you tell people a little bit more about your background and what it is that you bring to your business?
Absolutely. Well, I've been a practicing yogini for, gosh, a long time. I don't want to date myself, but certainly over 15 years. And about 10 years ago, I decided that it was time for me to get a yoga teacher certification. And I did through Yoga Durango, actually, here in Durango. And then a few years later, just after having really realized what a beautiful modality yoga is to help us really get in tune with our whole beings, body, mind, and spirit. That in itself was really like a homecoming for me, just realizing that we are completely entire beings. It's not just our bodies, it's not just our minds, it's not just our spirit, but all of those integrated together. And so when that was described to me in that way in the yoga teacher training, that really just felt like such a beautiful way to not only heal myself, but also people who are feeling actually through the yoga teacher training. That is what introduced me to Ayurveda. Can you still hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So when I was introduced to Ayurveda, that really expanded my mind in terms of what nutrition really is. I mean, just really having a deeper understanding that it's not just the foods we put in our body, it is also all the sensory input that we take into ourselves. It's living within the seasons, and it's living within our own environment, and it's our relationships, it's all of the things that we are really experiencing on a daily basis that becomes our nutrition. And so that just helped launch me into this whole other trajectory of learning what holistic nutrition really is. And sure, eating healthy foods will get us so far, but it's also really about finding the underlying root cause of if there feels like an imbalance in ourselves. So after the yoga teacher training and teaching yoga for quite some time, I got really interested in the chakras, and I did a lot of my yoga teaching was based on the chakras. I taught a chakra-based vinyasa class for many years, and I thought that that was also a really fascinating lens to look at our own health and well-being, just from the lens of each chakra or energetic center in our being. And so that's basically been the last or so years, learning just about specific forms of nutrition and how that can help our physiology and our physical body, but also how that can really affect our even just eating certain foods for our mental health and feeling mentally stable and mentally good and strong, and feeling a strong sense of connection to source too. So it's been really just a fascinating journey to learn about really what holistic nutrition is, not just solely from the food standpoint, but then just taking these really wonderful side trajectories based on Ayurveda and the chakras and sort of the energetic systems that are totally at play with our overall health and well-being. So that has brought us up to the last few years when I had babies, and that's been a wonderful experience. But after not really feeling like I had the time and energy to devote to myself anymore. Not sleeping for 5 years will really, really run someone deeply into the ground. So I had to completely overhaul my whole idea of what self-care should be, because there's not infinite time or energy or resources to just devote to one's personal health and well-being. And so um, I've really simplified a lot of things to make it more within reach for more people. So that's kind of where we are now, or the last couple of years anyway.
Awesome. And
So
go ahead.
well, I wanted to follow up, and just talk about the name La Bella Una, the beautiful one, because it sounds like you have a particular view of what beauty actually is and what it means, and that would be similar to how you're viewing holistic nutrition. And it also seems like you have built a business that is a reflection of who you are as a person. So can you
Mm.
speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I sure can. So you're right. The La Bella Una really, I have such a hard time naming things. I'm also a magazine editor, at least in a past life, and I'm a former. Well, I guess I do still do some modeling occasionally, um, but really, to answer your question, I have a really hard time naming things, and it took me forever to figure out what I wanted to call this iteration of my business. And really, I view beauty as a tool. I view beauty as a reflection of what's happening on our insides. I view beauty as a reflection of, if we're feeling peaceful and graceful and happy and powerful, that is our beauty, and that is what we should be expressing to. And so when it came to naming this business, I was like, well, I'm really interested in holistic nutrition and beauty as well, because I love taking care of our skin and our hair and our whole bodies, right, inside and out. So I thought that including like the outside external beauty part of that should definitely be part of what I was trying to convey in the name of this business. But really, more than anything, it was just looking at the idea of the beautiful one, that we as individuals, we are the beautiful one, but we are also the beautiful one. It is about wholeness, it is about unity, it is about each one of us as individuals being our strongest, most vibrant, most powerful embodied selves, so that we can strengthen universal consciousness. Mic drop.
That's awesome. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Um, Tell us a little bit more about the products and services that you offer through that,
Sure.
because when you go to your website, it says it's a lifestyle boutique, and we know you have all of these synergistic products and services that come together. So tell everybody, what it is that you're offering.
Sure. So my business is getting a bit of a makeover right now, and I'll start with what I'm currently offering, and then I'm going to tell you a bit about the direction of where I'm going. So I currently, a couple years ago, when I really birthed La Bella Una, it was trying to figure out what I could offer the world right now, being a mompreneur, a stay-at-home mom with little to no childcare at all. And it started with a line of, I call it high vibration clothing. And so we know about the vibration of words, and the words that we use to speak. You can tell the difference just by saying the word, say, fear or feeling guilt, and it just has a deep heaviness to it, versus words like the higher end of the energetic spectrum, like love, joy, and peace, which are a lot higher on the energetic spectrum. And I was realizing that we as human beings, being that we're at least 70% water. I don't know if you're familiar with Masamuro Emoto's work about we're water, basically, and the energetics of water. And when you speak to water or freeze water with a certain word in mind, how it completely changes the energetic structure of water. Is this ringing any bells? And no worries if not.
Yes,
Oh,
hidden messages in the water. We know his work
Okay.
very well.
Yes, exactly. And so I realized, so if we are beings of that are, essentially made of water, then why can't we essentially be devices of, when we wear a word or wear an intention, wouldn't that just raise our energetic frequency? Why also billboard for, and a reminder of these higher energetic frequency. So not only when we wear a shirt as love, is it reminding us to be love and to be these higher energetic frequencies, but also we're reminding everybody else like, that's not a bad idea. So that was sort of the beginning of this product line, since I didn't really have a lot of time to actually be meeting with people and doing yoga therapy unless it was virtually, and nutrition therapy. So that was sort of my initial product line, and I do still sell those, and I still absolutely love them. And I feel like that's a really, I love that product in my shop, and I will continue to sell those hopefully in perpetuity, because I feel like they hopefully add value and higher vibration to the world. But then as I was able to start, I guess, reintegrating back into society, becoming, not specifically only focusing on my mama duties, but also just being able to get back into the field of yoga therapy and holistic nutrition, was to start offering, I offer one-on-ones consulting. And so whether that's just an hour of somebody needing to come to me and be like, these are my long and short-term wellness goals, how do we develop a simple structure and strategy for how to get there? And so I offer that to people. But then I also feel like long-term change happens. It's not just a one conversation like, okay, here's a roadmap to change your life. Good luck with that. It is holding someone's hand and really holding space for them. I kind of feel like an energetic midwife to help them really decide who it is that they want to become and who their most vibrant self is. And I have them with a course of 3 and 6 month programs to assess and build the structure. I basically feel like we co-create the program for them, and then just reassess and restructure and reanalyze and I don't know, just rebirth this new, healthy, vibrant version of themselves into the world over longer periods of time. So I've got like the 1 hour, and then I give them a whole bunch of resources for that. But if they want to go deeper, then I can offer them 1 and 3 month and even longer. Like if people want to work with me for even a 6 month to a year long program, that's something that I offer too. But that's with just a very select few human beings that, I really feel like are ready to do the work. And I will not work with anybody unless they're ready to do the work, because it's a lot of work to really go to these potentially darker parts of ourselves that were, these deeper conditionings and patterns that may not have been serving us well for these many years. And so I feel like I have to be a really strong energetic match with someone in order to really hold space for them and to really help them to give them the results that they want. So I offer that. And then just on kind of simpler terms, I also offer a whole variety of cookbooks and meal plans for people who are just looking for like, okay, I need just a 1 week meal plan for stress relief, or right now a 1 week meal plan, which I'm offering for free currently, 1 week meal plan to how to feed my family on a budget, or 1 week meal plan for glowing skin, or just that sort of thing. So just meal plans and recipe books. And then I also, for a select few people, will build like medicine bundles. I do a lot of work with crystals and essential oils. And so when someone comes to me, that's sort of an add-on. Like if they want to just really deeply dive into, okay, what nutrition is going to serve me well? What simplified self-care can I do in order to feel better in my mind, body, and spirit? If they'd like to add on like these supportive resources, then I will put together, based on their energetics and their chakra and Ayurvedic dosha and chakra assessments, then I can help support them through not only the nutrition, like the physical foods that they're putting in their body and simplified self-care, but also chakra and dosha specific crystals and essential oils and things like that. But I'm getting ready. So really long answer to a short question, but I think this is important because I feel like this is really the trajectory that I'm now on, as I have realized that through my podcast, which we'll get to hopefully talk about in a few minutes as well. It's time to help healers to align with their message and share it with the world. And so I am getting ready to launch a suite of services specifically for healers who are needing to get really aligned. Just covered in chills thinking about this. This is really interesting. Who are wanting to get aligned with their capital T truth so that they can share it and disperse it. And the reasoning for that is twofold, that I'd really like for them to not only, like, we are all light bringers here, right? And so not only to share the light and to really transform global consciousness, but also um, to help them, like, in this very interesting moment in time that we're experiencing, the vital importance to keep the healers able to continue to heal, which it is a business, like it's an exchange of money and it's an exchange of energy. But I think a lot of the healers of the world are trying to figure out how to, pivot their practice so that they can continue to practice and can continue to share their light without having to shutter their doors, whether it's their Zoom doors or their literal doors of their practice. So that is what I have really been called to do recently. And so since I have started the podcast, and has been a wonderful, wonderful endeavor, and I'm really excited that it's brought me so much. Success can be defined in many terms, but it has been such a wonderful modality for me and my business that I'd really like to help others to experience that and to share that as well, because it is such a powerful medium to help not only share one's message, but also to attract their ideal clientele. So that's really the direction I'm moving.
That's
Can
right.
you tell us a little bit about what kinds of topics and things you cover on the podcast? I mean, I agree this is a very unique and interesting time, coming from a consciousness of all things happen for us. I do believe that that's part of what's happening, is that people are stepping up and stepping into their power, stepping into the gifts and things that they want to share. So talk a little bit about the podcast. What are some of the subjects you cover? What are some of the common things that you see with those healers that you're trying to help? Like, what are the obstacles that they're trying to overcome?
Sure. So that's a really good question. So the current podcast that I have been producing for the last, I've been producing it for a year, but that's been out for the last 6 or 7 months, is called the Vitality Sessions Podcast. And that has really been more directed toward not necessarily the healers, but really for anyone who is interested in taking a holistic approach to their health and well-being. And so we've covered so many different things. I like the approach to podcasting that you can make it about whatever you want, but I've taken kind of a strange or different, unique approach in that sometimes it's a solo episode with me sharing certain things. Like, I'm actually getting ready to release 2 episodes based on sleep and do like a guided gentle yoga practice and breath work specifically for sleep. And then the next episode will be about guided meditation for sleep. But then we have all these really wonderful holistic healthcare practitioners. I've had Dr. Nicola Dellinger on there. We talk about just, again, simple self-care. I've had a woman talking specifically about crystals for stress reduction. I've had a woman, Sarah Klein, who's actually also local, who talked about how to tone our parasympathetic nervous system. It's been such a varied and diverse assortment of guests and content, but really all having to do with holistic health and what are some simple things that we can do today. And really, it seems like the underlying theme and the underlying thread is simple self-care and taking a moment to get still and taking a moment to remember to breathe and get centered and come from that place. And that's when the healing begins, right? And so that's what I've been producing for the last few months. And I'm hoping to still continue to be able to produce that podcast as well. But I feel like what's happening now is when I start to work specifically with and for these healers, it's going to be more like a mastermind where I can, this particular podcast will be about how to get aligned with one's messaging, how to identify their ideal client avatar, who are they wanting to talk to, so they can start to refine their messaging and then take it from there. And so then I would be able to help them not only with like the experiences that I've had and all the different business building work and education that I have done over the last couple of years and just really simplifying that process, but also interviewing other people about how to create their ideal practice. And so, like for me, if I'm trying to help people learn how to do podcasting, it would just be like, here is a simplified process for learning how to podcast in 10 steps. Here is learning how to pivot your practice so that you can take your business online if you were originally an in-person practice that's no longer able to do that, or to do that in a really more, I don't want to use the word limited, but in a very different way than they've used their practice in the past. So I have a lot of ideas about how I can help healers specifically to get really clear on their messaging and share that messaging, whether it's like how to even develop a strong social media profile and following and start attracting clients there, really helping healers to create content vehicles for their messaging and dispersing that effectively so that they're reaching the right people and bringing their light to the world, but being able to continue to grow their practices. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. And
Okay.
just a little follow up on that.
Sure.
What what is your advice? Because if you're talking about healers, what comes to my mind is, of course, things like energy work and
Mhm.
a lot of things that would have been hands-on or in person. So how are you advising those people to take that online?
Well, I think that that's going to be a really interesting shift for people to have to make. I know that it seems like, at least currently, and I know that this could change even by the time this is aired, but at least there are ways to continue to see at least some clients in person. But really the advice that I would be giving to healers right now is to be creating that content vehicle, because when we're creating a content, and I'll go into a little bit about more what that is, but creating a content vehicle like whether it's a podcast or whether it's a YouTube channel or whether it's a blog, for example, that we are creating content that is sharing the gift and sharing the message with your ideal clients so that they already know, like, and trust you. So that way, when it comes time to reopen their doors, they have the right clients being able to come in. And so that might even mean whether it's changing their pricing so that if they're only going to be able to see a certain number of clients, then that might mean having to change their ideal client avatar a little bit. Or if it is the other thing that I'm really excited about and getting ready to also start coaching healers how to do is programs, and to create their own programs. So whether they have to take their pivot their practice so that they're actually interacting with people online, or if they can create programs to whether it's like passive income products, like they're writing ebooks, or they're creating different guides for how to do this yourself, or they want to create an actual program that outlines the work that they would be doing with a person one-on-one, that can become more of like an evergreen product, or how to transition their business in such a way that can still bring in an income. Everybody's going to have to shift what they're doing, probably. Like there is no the same world pre-March, right? Like that's gone. We will have to now decide how we as individuals and healers are going to have to evolve our practices. And so far, what I've been able to tell is that for those of us who can take any kind of consulting and like what's the word I'm looking for, telemedicine, then that's going to be a really great option. Or or programs like I was mentioning, whether it's just digital products that you create and post on your website, or creating a program. I have a couple different examples of programs that you can create on an online platform that then people can go and purchase on them on their own, and either work through it by themselves or have that continued support with the actual healing practitioner as well.
I love that. And I love the synergy that's happening, right? Part of our mission is to educate, empower, and inspire people to live healthy lifestyles. And the other part is to help
Yeah.
and the other part is to help conscious businesses thrive and share their message. So, having somebody that they can go to assist them with building programs and, all the next steps they need to do in the iteration of their new world business. I feel like this time has been really powerful in the sense that maybe we haven't all been impacting as many people as we can, and we're learning new ways to step up and fulfill our potentials through this. So I think that's great that you're moving in that direction.
You. Yeah, and I love what you guys are doing. I think that you guys have such a unique publication and such a wonderful, just a high vibrational idea for this world. And I'm so happy that you guys are bringing such amazing content into this world. And I'm just I'm really excited to help in any way that I can, whether it's, the healers who are part of the EPIC, or, then their tribe of people that they're helping. Like we are going to make a difference. And even though it is going to take a bit of a learning curve, probably, on how to do that effectively, it's happening, and I'm excited to help.
Can you tell us that if you could go back in time and offer your younger self some advice, what would that be?
Oh, so many things. I would say just to be kind to myself and to not take myself so seriously. Just to remember that we are here on this planet in this moment in time for a very specific purpose, and that sometimes the answers don't always come really easily or clearly, but that every step along the way is a really valuable one, and to not discount any of that. Because, looking back over the last however many years I've been alive on this planet, and all the iterations of my career, and not really being exactly sure how it's supposed to all fit together. Now I get it, and I see how every single thread of my life completely fits together. And now I have a very specific way that, because of all of those things that I've ever done in my life, can really help. I feel like we're reweaving the tapestry of the world, right? And so now I really feel like I know why all of these things have happened, and just to remember to always be kind to myself no matter what, because in the end, we only get one chance at this specific lifetime and this specific body, mind, and spirit, and that we need to really take the best possible care of our body, minds, and souls in this lifetime.
That was a great answer.
Thank
So
you.
now let's do the opposite. Let's fast forward into the future, 10 or 20 years, and you're looking back at, your life, your legacy. What is it that you hope to see in terms of what it is that you've contributed to, either to this community in particular or to humanity in general?
Honestly, and it really is kind of all of the above. Like, I remember, I'm going to just share a quick anecdote, but I remember about 10 years ago, we had pretty recently moved to Durango, and I was sitting on the bathroom counter in our master bathroom with my husband. He was sitting on his counter, and I was sitting on my counter. We were having a heart to heart. This was pre-children, right? And I've just always been a very sensitive human being, and I have always, since I was 5 years old, and I've known this forever, that I just wanted to be a being of love and light. And I had no idea what that meant, or how I was going to do that, or like how that translates to being like a contributing member of society, or what that looks like in terms of job or career. But I just remember sitting on the bathroom counter and just crying and being like, there's so much to do. I have no idea, I have no help or how to help. And he just said, be the drop in the pond. And it really made sense to me. I'm going to totally get emotional about this because it's so totally true to my heart and my soul. But um, it just really reminded me that we have to start with ourselves, and that when we become our strongest, most vibrant, most empowered, embodied versions of ourselves, that is how we create that ripple effect. And so I see that as creating the strongest, most vibrant, most happy, most joyful, peaceful human being I can be, and creating that in my household for our children and our family and our community. And then longer term and over, the next few years, if I can be on this planet for hopefully 20, 30, 40, I'm working to be 120-ish. So just to give you a little heads up. But over the next 30 or 40 years, looking back, that I will have helped to contribute to the love and the light and the positivity, because I know that there is so much pain and suffering in this world, and I've never understood why that is. But it doesn't matter that I don't understand why. All I know is that I need to help, and I am starting to really see how I can. And so I'm really excited to look back on my life in 30 or 40 years, knowing that I spent every day working really hard, but not bad hard, like joyfully hard, like passionate hard, to create a better life for ourselves, our community, and the world at large. And that is absolutely my mission, and it is unshakable. I am so excited about this as totally weird and bizarre and difficult and painful as this time in history may be for all of us on some level, I am also extraordinarily hopeful and feel that it is a truly powerful time for transformation. And I'm just really excited to be part of it.
I think we're finding the same. We're super excited to be building this new world and helping people open to a higher level of consciousness so we can really dream together the world that we want to live in. So
Absolutely. Yes. I'm so happy to hear that. It's nice to have partners in all of this. You know, who can we link arms with to really create this beautiful dream of the earth that we want to bring into the world, to bring to fruition.
could you give everyone maybe 3 things that they could do on a regular basis to just bring them into that space of joy and love and living their best version?
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing that I would say is to slow down and breathe. That's kind of 2 things, but really one thing that I've really just completely had to draw back on, as you know, I'm a mom of 2 young kids. They are crazy town, and like it's just kind of chaos at my house most of the time. And so I think that this can be used on a microscopic and macroscopic, if that's a word, way of living, is just to stop what you're doing and just get grounded and put your feet on the ground, put your bottom in a chair, and just breathe, and to truly lengthen and deepen your inhale and your exhale. And even just doing that for 5 full deep breaths can have a world of positive impact on how you're feeling in the moment, and learning how to really respond instead of react. I feel like that's one really powerful tool that we can do. The second would be to put your hand on your heart and close your eyes. And if you're ever feeling just completely out of whack and really not sure what the next step is just to ask yourself what you need in this moment. And if you allow yourself the moment of peace and quiet in your own mind's eye and being, that little voice inside you will always let you know really what it is that you need. And the third, and this is it might sound really silly, but it's been a complete and total game changer just in my life, is make sure you're getting enough sleep. I realize that all of your other health and well-being efforts can kind of be, sleep sets the foundation. And if we're not getting adequate sleep, or we're getting broken sleep, or we're not making sleep a priority, that really creates a shaky foundation for the rest of our health and well-being. So I'd really make sure to sleep, breathe, and ask yourself what you really need. And those 3 things, and if you do them consistently every single day, that will not only just help to create a solid foundation for your health and well-being, but also just to really give you the peace and clarity to move forward in every moment of your life.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks. I mean, there's so many more. I'm like, and drink lemon water, and make sure you're getting enough protein, and make sure that you're, I mean, you know, I could rattle off 40, but if it's specifically about just holistic well-being and those, the small hinges that move big doors, those are 3 of my favorites.
Well, I want to just express my gratitude. You are somebody who, again, it's like your business is a reflection of who you are, and I just think that is an incredible example to set for mompreneurs, solopreneurs, healers, who, you know, whoever it is. It's just, you know, living by example is something you do very well. You've been a great contributor to E.P.I.C. You have the article in the current edition, and you have given us many recipes over the years, and we're so grateful for that. And why don't you just let people know like how they can get in touch with you?
Sure. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for that, both Lori and Lisa. I appreciate you both, and I appreciate Epic Magazine so much. And if people would like to keep in touch with me and my offerings, you can always visit labellauna.com, and that's LABELLAUNA.com, or check out my current podcast, which is the Vitality Sessions podcast, and coming soon for healers near you. And I'm not going to reveal titles or anything of that yet, but there's more in the works, and I'm really excited to share it. So please keep in touch with me. Oh, and one more thing, if you want to follow me at Celestia French on Instagram, I share a lot of just quick tips and tools on that platform as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Celestia. We appreciate your time, your wisdom, and your expertise, and we're looking forward to having you on again. If everyone wants to visit us, it's Epic, Empowering People in the Community, and that's at epicnet.org. And again, visit Celestia at labellauna.com.
Thank you so much, both of you. It is my sincere honor and privilege to spend this time with you, and I really look forward to continuing to collaborate.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste.